What is going on, guys? My name is Yasterbricks, and today we're going to be looking at Hidden Side Set 70431, The Lighthouse of Darkness. This set retails for $50 in the United States, has 540 pieces, recommended for ages 8 and up, and it has 5 minifigures where it released today, January 1st, 2020 in the US. Let's start by taking a look at those minifigures. So the first minifigure of this set is going to be Jack, and he has a brand new design for 2020, which I absolutely freaking love. I love what they did here, especially with his hair hat combo where he has on the backwards hat, and his hair is just so detailed, especially with the cap. This has got to be one of the most detailed hair hat combos that we got since Dustin. And you can see, comparing it to its 2019 counterpart, I love the hoodie hat combo on this one, but the hair hat combo on this version of Jack just knocks it out of the park. And you can see he actually is wearing the same hat, so they have a little bit of consistency in universe there. I also believe this is a brand new facial expression for 2020, where he looks quite happy on this side, and then he looks really pissed off on the other side. And he is wearing a red shirt, and he has his standard phone accessory, which hasn't changed since 2019. This is a very common piece, but it is still cool to get here. He also just does have a little dog bone keychain and just some similar leg printing that he had in 2019. It is almost identical, but there are a little bit of differences there, as you can see. And yeah, that is all for Jack. Really cool minifigure. Next up here we have Parker, who is also updated for 2020, where she removed her beanie and replaced it with headphones, and we actually get to see more of her purple hair. And comparing it to the 2019 version, she's wearing exactly the same outfit that came in a lot of sets, where she has the jean jacket and the ripped jeans with all the stickers on them and everything on the back as well. But the hairpiece and the facial expression are brand new for this wave, with the hairpiece actually being a brand new piece entirely, where it is dual molded with the headphones. It is actually a hard plastic, which I'm very impressed with. She has her smirking facial expression, and then she has a really angry facial expression just like Jack. And then she also just does have her phone, which is very common. Again, hasn't changed since 2019. If we take a look at the older version, they're exactly the same print. And yeah, that is it for Parker. Love this figure as well, and it's great to get both of these in a new taste of the Hidden Side 2020 wave. Here is the skeleton, probably the most basic minifigure of this set. You guys have all seen Lego skeletons before. You know how they work. It just uses a normal minifigure head and then these specialized skeleton pieces for his body. More interesting is his accessory, which uses all existing pieces to make some sort of trumpet or bugle or horn. I really hope this isn't a reference to the Doot Doot skeleton meme, because that is one of the worst memes ever to exist, and I just hope Lego isn't trying to reference that, but who knows, that's probably what they're going for. And you can just have him hold it one of two ways, where he's holding it like a normal person would hold it, or you can have him do it like this. So yeah, nice to get him in here, but really nothing too special. Now we have two exclusive minifigures inside the set, the first of which is Klaus Stormward, and he has this really cool lighthouse keeper design. I believe he is the owner of this lighthouse in universe, and I love the idea of Newbury being a coastal town because I live on the water too, so this is just a really cool theme for me. And you can see my favorite part of him is this sand green hat, which this is not a new piece, as we did get it last year in this yellow coloring, but sand green is just a way cooler color for me. And you can see his torso printing is nothing too impressive. His accessory is nothing too impressive. I assume this is just a fishing something. I don't know too much about fishing. And taking off his hat, you can see he has no alternate facial expression, but for his main facial expression, moving his beard piece, which is Godric Gryffindor's in a gray color, he has this pretty cool facial expression where he has a beard under the beard, if you will, and he just has his eyebrows raised a little bit. Would have been cool if we got an alternate facial expression, but we do actually have an alternate form of this minifigure, so let's check that out. Here you can see he's actually haunted, where he uses this green beard piece, and he actually uses a translucent green head underneath. Let's take that off. And here's what his head looks like underneath. I believe this is a new design for 2020, but not exclusive to this set. I could be wrong about that, though. Please correct me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And there are also a bunch of these Power Blast pieces included in this set. Well, they're not called Power Blast. That's the Marvel superhero's name for it. But you get a lot of these ghost pieces in translucent green. So I just thought I'd show them with this minifigure, since he is our first haunted one. And you do get quite a few of these, so let's check these out. So first we have kind of this translucent claw piece, which is neat. We do get two of those, I believe. Yup, there's a different type right here, which you can put on a minifigure's hand to kind of make it look like it's just being powered up. You have another one here, which you can clip to a minifigure's hand to make it look like it's shooting out a bit of energy. We already looked at this one. You have another one to make it look like he's shooting out a big piece of energy. We already looked at this one. We already looked at this one. And then this one is actually a neck attachment. And yeah, you have to take off his beard to see this one, but pretty wacky piece. I don't really know in what context you'd use this, but it does exist, and you do get a full packet of these, and none of them are included in the build, which I thought was interesting, and it doesn't even suggest that you use any of them on the minifigures in the instructions, so I guess we just have these. And finally, we have this diver character called Jenny Nape. She can also become haunted, which I'll show you guys in a minute. But first, let's take a look at her by herself. She has this burnt orange helmet, which this is my first time seeing it in this color. It could have been used in other places too. She also uses this classic Coast Guard diver's mask piece, which really brings me back to 2008 when I really started to get into LEGO with those Coast Guard sets. So super nostalgic to me. Glad to see that there. She also uses the oxygen tank piece in this burnt orange, which again is my first time seeing in this color. She uses this standard harpoon gun piece or spear gun, whatever you call it, and you can see she has some very detailed printing where she has all this moss on her and this patch on her and some boots. And if we take off her head, or sorry, her helmet, you can see she has a smirking or angry expression, and then she has a more happy one. Let's take a look at that back printing. And you can see, even though they covered it up with the oxygen tank, she still does have a lot of detailing on her back with more moss and a little rope and some more patches. Now let's take a look at the haunted version of this figure. The haunted version of this character is less drastic than Klaus, but you can see she does have a haunted face underneath, and taking a better look at that by taking off the helmet, you can see it is this female version, which is not exclusive to the set, but still pretty cool to get. That covers all the minifigures. Now let's take a look at the builds. So there are two main builds inside of the set, the Lighthouse and the Jetski. Let's start by taking a look at the Jetski. So first off, we have this Jetski build, which is really not my favorite build on the planet. There's one interesting building technique used where they use the First Order Riot Control Stormtrooper shield piece to kind of make this front part have a slant to it, which is neat. There's a big sticker on the front, which shows some detail. And what you can do is you can just put a minifigure right here, and you can have him hold the handlebar. Yippee. And the instructions also suggest that you put Jack's phone on the back here, but if you really want to, you can probably fit on another minifigure on this Jetski. So there you go, you have Jack and Parker on there. And there also is this little sonar dish piece on the side where you can move it around just a little bit, and then there is this blue side part right there. Might interact with the app, I don't know, I don't really care. And then you have these propulsion engines on the back, I suppose. That's it for the Jetski build. Really unnecessary in my opinion, but it is here. So yeah, now let's move on to the Lighthouse. Now onto the Lighthouse. For reviewing purposes, it's going to be a lot easier for me to actually take off this top Lighthouse right here. So I'm going to review the little rock base section and then the Lighthouse section, and then I'll give you an overview of what the build looks like put together. So let's start with the rock base section. Alright, so first looking at this base rock area, it appears that there's not much going on here at first, but there actually is more than you realize once we take a look at it. So first you have this little dock area right here where you can just pull up the jet ski, load up your minifigures, take them on and off. There is a little lantern build on the side, which is cute, but one of these dock panels can actually be lifted up, and it is revealed that there is a purple crab underneath. So I don't really know what that's for. There is a blue piece underneath, which leads me to believe that this might be part of the app because of the wacky color used. And there are stairs up to the lighthouse door, which can open, but we will take a closer look at the lighthouse in a minute here. And also on the front, there is this little opening to a cavern. And there is also, of course, one of these arbitrary devices that are used for the app, which really takes away from the build, in my opinion, because of these weird colors that are so obviously shown. But you can twist this around, and there are a couple stickers there if you want to take a look at those. But this is really easily removable if you don't want it there. So when I display the set, I'm probably just going to take this off because I really don't like the way it looks. Anyways, there is a function where you can push a lever on the back, and this big ugly rock piece here will lift up, and these two claws will come out. And these two claws are actually really cool. They use these Technic pieces. They're not on ball joints, and they act like they're really synthetic, where you can kind of move them around. But it's really neat. I like how they did those, and I'll show you how that function works. So there is this really long bar in the back, which kind of takes away from the build. But I guess if you're displaying it, you'll display it from the front. And all you have to do is just push that in, and it'll just make the claws go in and out. So as you can see, really not much to it. You push it, goes in, pull it, goes out. Finally, for the exterior of the rock area, there are just these two little tiles that flip up where one reveals a green piece underneath, and this one here also reveals a green piece underneath. Don't really know what those are for, probably the app, but that's pretty much it for the outside. Now let's take a look at the cave on the inside. So for the cave, there's really not too much going on here, where you do have this one little piece that will open up to reveal a golden unicorn horn. Maybe that has to do something with the plot, I don't really know. And then there also is this really random building technique that I actually like a lot, where they use this fang piece to simulate a dripping candle wax, which I just thought was really cool, and they use the newer Harry Potter candle piece. I say newer, but that piece is like 1.5 years old now, geez. And there also is a bat hanging from the ceiling in this area of the cave, and it is suggested that you put the skeleton somewhere in here. There is a decent amount of interior space that you can play with in here, but again, not too much going on. So I have removed the lighthouse to make it a little bit easier to review for you guys, because this set is really tall for my small reviewing station. So yeah, let's start by taking a look at the first floor, and then we'll work our way up. So for the first floor, there's really not too much going on in the exterior. You have this little door that can open, of course, and you have a little bit of an overhang here, some lights hanging out, this Grimsmouth Cove sign, which is actually on the second floor, and you can see there are some sticker work, and the side of this looks a little bit ugly because of the gaps, which is part of the play feature, which I'll show you guys in a minute. Same on the other side, and you do get just a few of these stickers to kind of show exposed rock. There is a window on the second floor, and then the main play feature of this set is that you can actually move out these panels, and it can reveal that this lighthouse is actually a sentient creature, and it has a bunch of teeth and an eye at the top, which I'll actually show you guys in a minute here. So that's it for the first 2 floors on the exterior. Now, the third floor, for that eye that I mentioned, there's actually a swiveling piece at the top where you can have this play feature where you go from a normal lighthouse light and you can turn it around, and there is an eye right there. And I'll show you a closer look at that printed eye piece in a minute, but you can see for the exterior of the third floor, there's really not too much going on. You have a balcony, which you can't even really fit a minifigure in between, and then just a couple of these 2x2 jumpers on the side. So yeah, that is it for the exterior of the lighthouse. Now let's take a look at what's going on in the inside. Now, taking a look at the inside, there's really not too much going on, and it is a little bit dark in here, so I'm actually going to turn on my flashlight to show you guys better. So you can see on the first floor, there is a little seat right here, and there also is this table, which I can take out, and it is meant to represent a little chessboard. I'm still waiting for the day that we get a 2x2 print where it just shows a 8x8 standard chessboard, but we can still wish. And then for the second floor, you have a little seat, and then you have a microphone as well as a control panel. I believe this is meant to send out signals to ships through Morse code or through audio messages. I'm not too familiar on this technology, but I know this is definitely an older thing that people used to use before, of course, the internet and more efficient communication methods were discovered. And so yeah, that is it for the inside of this set on the first and second floor. Now, here I'm going to get out one major complaint with this set, which is the biggest flaw in my opinion, and that's they focus too much on the base and the rock area instead of the actual lighthouse itself. The cave is just really uninteresting, and there's not much going on in the inside, and I feel like that space could have been devoted to making the inside of this lighthouse much more interesting, because we really don't get too much here. We get a seat, a chessboard, another seat, and a little desk. I feel like we could have gotten so much more, but then again, the main play feature is on the outside with the eye and the fangs and everything. All that you get on the inside is just a better look at this eyepiece, which is really intricately detailed for just a small piece, and I like what they did here. So that is it for the inside of the set, and actually the entire set in general. Now let's take a look at the box and the instructions, and I'll give you my final opinions. The box of the set is actually pretty large, and I could barely fit it in my reviewing station, but I believe this is a $60, $70 box, even though this is a $50 set. Not too positive on that, though. You'll have to ask Just Too Good for all the box size information. And this is actually the same box size that they use for the $90 Star Wars X-Wing, which released today. So that just shows you how expensive those are. And one cool detail about the box is this really cool lighthouse keeper looking guy, who is similar to the one that we got inside the set, but this guy is just way bigger and actually looks like he uses some big fig parts. It would have been cool if we got a big fig in this set, but that probably would have jacked up the price another $10. Taking a look at the back of the box, it just gives you a more realistic look at the set and what you can do with all of this, and it also advertises the Hidden Side app. Now let's take a look at the instructions. So the instructions of this set are pretty small but thick. And in the back, we can see that there are ads for both the sets that released in August last year, which I'll just give you my quick thoughts. Don't want this, want this, own this, want this really badly, want this, have this, have this. Another ad for the app interactions. And then you also get the 2020 sets. Give you my quick opinions on these. Want this, don't want this at all, want this kind of, want this really badly, own this, and this set's just okay. And then you also do get the parts list and then the classic win thing on the back. So overall, while there are some big flaws with the set, as I mentioned in my review, I really like this one overall. I feel like for 50 bucks, you're getting 5 minifigures, which 2 of which I believe are exclusive. I love the new designs for Jack and Parker, and well, the skeleton is there. The build of it is really nice as well, and is definitely highly detailed for a $50 set of a smaller theme. And I really like supporting LEGO's original themes in general. And this set is just a great example of why Hidden Side is so fun with all the ghost features. And while I'm not a huge fan of the app myself, I feel like just the physical bricks inside the set are more than worth it for 50 bucks. The price to part is good on this one with 540 pieces for 50 bucks. The price to volume of stuff on this one is pretty good, especially if you compare it to another set like the one up here, which is the Hidden Side bus. You can see that the Lighthouse is significantly larger than the bus, and it is actually $10 less. So I would recommend picking this one up, and I would give this a 9 out of 10 overall. What do you guys think of this set? Be sure to let me know in the comments section down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Yasta out.